Today, I'm going to come to you on a topic of 8 different problems with adoptions that may occur. But first, we're going to do a Bible verse that we always do, and this one is in Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so we're going to go through each one of these summaries, and we're going to talk about them and do a little ideas on each one. And so the first one is separation from birth. And as each one is, as separation from birth is, it's always a serious matter one way or another. Something had to happen, something occurred, whether through parents or family or health reasons or something like that, for a child to be separated from their parent at birth is always something serious and should be taken as that. And so when you're adopting maybe a newborn, it's good to find out the whole story and the reasons for it, just so you know what's going on and it's updated, and you know how to handle that in the future and going on as the child gets older. So hopefully that's something that each person that is thinking about adopting, that they don't forget that the child was separated at birth and what was the reason. And also, when the child gets older, you can explain to the child, give them an accurate story of what happened. So that's something really to be mindful about. The other one is pre-adoption termination. Now, this one can be heartbroken for both sides, the adoptees or the ones that are adopting. If you think that, hey, we're going through the process, I'm going to be adopted, I'm getting ready to go to my new home, and get excited, or and both sides, the parents are, oh, we're going to have this new child coming to us. The ones that are old enough to understand that they're going to a new home, they're like, oh, we're going to a new home, we're going to get excited about this. And for some reason it falls through, whether it's for legal reasons or the biological parents, the mother decides, oh, I don't want to give up my child for adoption, after all. And that can be a very, very painful and hurtful situation. The mother may do it for a good reason, may do it for a bad reason. But at the end of the day, it's very painful to be on either side of that. And I think if I remember correctly, I believe there is some sort of contracts or something that's written up that the mother gives her rights away at birth, or and I might need to do a little bit more research on that. Um, and so even if it's after the birth, and something falls through, maybe they decide it's not a right fit for them or something like that, and they pre-terminate the adoption. So that's something mindful. If that does happen to a child that you decide to adopt, and that child has that fear of, man, what if it happens again? What if it happens again? And they show that emotion, and they are like, don't give me false hope about this. And so that's something to be really mindful, reassuring that child and making sure that that is actually what you want to do before you present it to the child that you are about to adopt. So different things like that, just really be mindful of it. So, the less the child is hurt, or the less the parent or the adoptee is hurt, of course, the better off. The next one is resilience of trauma. This through adoption, not all adoption. Some adoptions can be very traumatizing. It can be hard on the parent. It can be hard on the child. It can be hard on even the CPS workers or the child advocacy part, or just to be aware of what this child is going through and that is being dealt with appropriately. Whether it's through counseling, going to church, a mentor, or whatever is out tools out there to help this child is to get rid of that trauma. You can't really get rid of it. Um, to know how to deal with it and how to grow in their life and in their journey, how to deal with that trauma. Um, to really, I guess the goal is to really to learn from it, not necessarily be harmed by it. Once you go through it, it's not something that you can take back. We can stop in a time machine and erase all the trauma that adoption kids have gone through. So it's better to plant it in front of them that make it, how can you grow from this and how can we grow from this and how can we show you the love that we have that is genuine and that we're here to love on you and take care of you and that we're sorry that this happened to you, but to assure them that, hey, we're here. And the fifth one is conflicting of the upbringings. Um, Now that goes for an older, maybe an older child, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, of however that comes within that time age frame, or a little bit older, or old enough for a child to understand what's going on. If you were taken out of the home, put into the foster home, or put into a new adopted home, um, to there are going to be some adjustments there. It's going to be different from where you came from. I would encourage to give that child some time to make that adjustment because we can't expect that child to move into your home or to that foster home or placement home, wherever that child is at, to do a switch and to adapt to your rules and your settings of your home. Um, that the child is going to snap and it's all changed. It's going to take them some time and it's going to take them some understanding of how to do it. And so I would ask that you guys, whoever's thinking about it, just to be mindful of that. Um, and they may bring some good things to the new home, like, hey, I did this at my new home and in my old home, and this worked out for me, and it worked great for me, and I'm able to learn and to live that way. So don't discount the ideas and the way they lived in the past if it worked for them and it was beneficial and healthy to them. So the next thing is a quest for identity. Who am I and why am I here? And these are things that can be shown to the child, uh, help them understand it. Like I said again, I'm a big fan, a supporter of counseling. I believe it's a powerful tool. To find a professional, your church counseling can be great, but also to get a professional, one that is professional in adoption and adopting families. And I know I always talk about counseling. Always make sure that the counselor that you go through and that you choose, that they have experience in adoption, that they understand it, they've been through it, or they have other families that they counsel about adoption. It's just the same mindset is you don't want to go to a criminal lawyer for real estate or vice versa. You want to make sure that that counselor is equipped to deal with the situation and with adoption. So help them to understand why they're here and who they are. And I talked about this before in other ones about their identity. That we don't make sure that they do not forget where they came from and who they are and where they came from. It's really, really important for them to understand a loss of identity is something dangerous and is very harmful uh, to a person. So we always want to keep that mindful of that. Also, the perception of others. Some people may look at you, oh, why you want to adopt? You're just adopting for attention, or you just want to get praised for it, or um, whatever that reason may be. You always have naysayers, and that's okay. Let that happen. Let that be. But also continue to make sure that your heart is in the right place when you do adoption. And it doesn't matter necessarily, it doesn't matter what people say or what people think about why you're adopting. As long as you know with that within your heart that's in a good place, it's something you prayed about, you guidance for, direction for it, and it's for a good reason. That's really all that matters. The next thing is disruption of adoption. And again, that can be painful. I've seen it happen before where the child is already adopted to this family. Um, and for some reason that the family decide they can't handle the child that they adopt, they want to give them back to the system. And not only that, the courts can actually terminate the adoption. The same very courts and judge that approved the adoption, they can later go back and terminate that adoption. But if they see fit, if it comes to abuse or whatever, abuse, neglect, or something harmful to the child, the courts can actually terminate the adoption themselves. Not only just the parents, but also the judge. And I've spoke to people that has happened to in their childhood. It is very painful. It's scarring them, and it's something that they deal with even today as they're older adults. It can be damaging to the child. It can be discouraging to the family that actually adopted and like, oh man, I don't know if we want to do this again. What if it happens again that it's not a good fit? And so that's why I always encourage them before you adopt, make sure cover all your grounds, no stones uncovered, that it's exactly what you guys want. It's exactly a fit for the child. If the child is mindful of the situation and is able to express their opinions, to make sure that all that stuff is taken consideration when adopting, to make sure that it's right for both of y'all. Same thing as in a marriage, make sure that is right. If the courts or the system or CPS allows them to do like a counseling therapy together, or you have the opportunity to meet and greet this child that you're thinking about adopting. Take every opportunity that is there to meet and greet this child and spend as much time with them, do as much research with that child and about that child that you can, to make sure that a disruption of adoption doesn't occur and it hurts both of you in the same time. And I really pray that I should look into the numbers about that and see how often that occurs. But I really pray that doesn't happen very often, because I could only imagine the hurt and anger, resentment that could be in that child or that parent that happens to. So with this, I hope today was a learning episode for myself and for you guys, and that we can to continue to learn new topics and so forth with each other. If you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas, please put it in the comments. I'll get back to you. I'll try to answer every one of them in a timely manner. But until next time, never be a stranger to a child in need. I can't outrun your love.